Dragons are not just monsters, they are not just weapons, and they are definitely not just fantasy animals. In the worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien and George R. Martin, dragons are symbols of power itself. But the way these two authors use dragons could not be more different. One makes them the last echoes of a dying world. The other makes them the rebirth of a violent, forgotten age. Today, we break down the true purpose and power of dragons. Tolkien versus Martin. Hello everyone, and welcome to Storyteller's Codex. Here we delve deep into the rich lore of The Lord of the Rings, A Song of Ice and Fire, and the vast worlds beyond. On this channel, we blend the soothing power of cutting-edge technology with the timeless knowledge of dedicated storytellers. That's us, the voices behind the Codex. Settle in, relax, and enjoy. Tolkien's dragons have an explicitly supernatural origin. They were created by Morgoth in the First Age through corruption. Not bred, not naturally evolved. They were twisted into existence as instruments of destruction. The first of these creations was Glaurung, the father of dragons. He had no wings and did not fly, but he was sentient, cunning, and malicious. He was a direct expression of Morgoth's will, a creature forged to break the free peoples of Middle-earth. Later, Morgoth created winged dragons like Ankaleg and the Black, whose power was so immense that his fall destroyed entire mountain ranges. This ties dragons directly to the mythic divine conflict of the First Age, a time when the world was shaped by gods and demigods. In contrast, George R. Martin's dragons are a biological species. They hatch from eggs, grow, feed, and die like animals, but they are intertwined with powerful magical forces. Their true origins remain ambiguous, but several theories exist. The Valyrians claim to have discovered dragons in the volcanic regions of Old Valyria. But Eastern legends from Asshai suggest something deeper, that dragons were shaped or awakened by shadow magic. Some connect them to the Red Comet, which in some cultures symbolises blood, fire, and the return of magic. There is even speculation that dragons are linked to R'hllor, the Lord of Light, whose power strengthens dramatically when dragons return. In Martin's world, dragons may not be supernatural creations, but the conditions that allow them to exist are absolutely magical. So at their origin, the difference is clear. Tolkien's dragons are deliberate creations of a fallen god. Martin's dragons are natural creatures shaped, influenced, and empowered by magic. Tolkien's dragons are highly intelligent. They can speak, negotiate, manipulate, and deceive. Smaug does not just guard treasure. He analyses Bilbo's words, tests him for weaknesses, and deduces the location of Lake Town's weakness. Glaurung uses psychological warfare, destroying the life of Turin Turambar through lies and emotional manipulation. In Tolkien's world, dragons are not beasts. They are thinking, strategizing entities with malice and pride. Their bodies are mythic in scale. Fire drakes burn with unnatural flame. Cold drakes exist without fire entirely. Their wingspans and armoured scales exceed any biological explanation. They are supernatural by design. Martin's dragons, by contrast, behave like a fusion of reptile, bird, and magical beast. They grow continuously with access to food and space. Their fire has measurable limits and physical consequences. They bond to riders through instinctual, animal-like imprinting. Their intelligence is significant. They can understand commands, moods, and relationships, but they do not speak, negotiate, or strategize the way Tolkien's dragons do. In Martin's world, dragons are wild, apex predators. In Tolkien's world, dragons are sentient forces of corruption. This difference defines how they interact with their respective worlds. Tolkien uses dragons to explore greed, pride, and moral decay. Smaug represents the destructive allure of wealth. The treasure of Erebor becomes a curse, corrupting dwarves, dividing men, and inviting war. Glaurung embodies manipulation and despair. His purpose is to break heroes spiritually, not simply destroy them physically. In Tolkien's narrative, dragons are philosophical tools. They reveal moral weaknesses and test the courage of characters. Martin's dragons serve a different function entirely. They are weapons of mass destruction. Martin has openly stated that dragons are his commentary on nuclear weapons. As a critic of the Vietnam War, and a conscious objector, he witnessed how immense military power devastates civilian populations. In A Song of Ice and Fire, dragons give kings and queens absolute power, the kind of power no one should wield. They burn armies, they melt castles, they scorch cities filled with innocents. Their use creates political dominance, but also a moral catastrophe. The Targaryens achieved their dynasty through overwhelming firepower, not moral superiority. Dragons in Martin's world are not moral tests, they are instruments of domination. This defines the narrative difference. Tolkien's dragons challenge characters, Martin's dragons challenge societies. Tolkien's dragons operate on mythic scale. Ancalagon's fall shattered mountains, Glaurung psychologically destroyed entire lineages. Even Smaug, considered weaker than First Age dragons, was nearly impossible to kill and devastated kingdoms. Their power reflects the mythic age of Middle-earth, a time of demigods, balrogs and supernatural warfare. Martin's dragons, while enormous and devastating, operate on a realistic battlefield scale. Balerion the Black Dread could melt stone and erase armies, but he did not alter geography through mere presence. In Martin's world, dragons shift political power. In Tolkien's world, dragons shift the fate of entire ages. One is nuclear, one is divine. In Middle-earth, dragons inspire dread and awe but do not define civilizations. Dwarves fear them for destroying their kingdoms. Men tell stories about them. Elves treat them as remnants of ancient evil. They are powerful, but they do not shape the political order. In Westeros and Essos, dragons define entire cultures. Valyria built an empire on their backs, an empire that lasted thousands of years. Their society, religion, language and magic revolved around dragon mastery. Even long after Valyria fell, Westeros' political system is shaped by dragon psychology. Bloodlines are determined by riding ability. Prophecies predict their return. Power is measured by who controls dragons or who can kill them. In Tolkien's world, dragons are destructive anomalies. In Martin's world, dragons are world-shaping institutions. Tolkien's dragons decline because Morgoth's power declines. They are tied to the mythic past. So as the ages pass and the world becomes more human, dragons fade naturally. Their extinction is part of the world's diminishing magic. Martin's dragons decline due to environmental, political and magical factors. Poor conditions, inbreeding, captivity, and loss of Valyrian knowledge all contribute to their weakening. Their extinction is a failure of ecosystems, not divine will. And when Daenerys brings them back, magic resurges globally. This is a key difference. Tolkien's dragons die because myth dies. Martin's dragons die because humans fail to sustain them. In Tolkien's world, dragons are created by divine evil and symbolize the fading power of an ancient age. They are supernatural beings with intelligence, malice, and mythic scale. In Martin's world, dragons are biological creatures empowered by magic, tied to political domination, and used as weapons that echo real-world warfare. Tolkien's dragons exist to test individuals. Martin's dragons exist to test nations. One reveals moral corruption, the other reveals political corruption. One belongs to a world shrinking from myth, the other belongs to a world awakening to danger. That is the true difference. Dragons in Middle-earth are a memory. Dragons in Westeros are a warning. If you are interested in The Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire, click one of the links on the screen to dive deeper into the lore. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.